Good morning. We're going to talk about some different topics today. The first one is about a gentleman, Larry Summers, who's being considered as head of the Federal Reserve Board, and he's eminently qualified. He has a humongous amount of experience and is absolutely brilliant. I have two concerns about him, though. The first was in 1998 when he testified before Congress, and Congress was looking into the issue of the new financial derivatives, and they really worried, was this safe? Was this safe? And Larry was asked to testify, and he gave a very strong presentation. Yes, they were okay, that the people who were handling it were big boys. They could see if it was safe or not, and there was no need for additional intervention by the Congress in order to make sure that they were safe. And these, of course, were the derivatives that we all talk about as being one of the major contributors to the collapse of the financial system. The other occurred next year, 1999, when a bill was being considered and strongly pushed by Mr. Summers to put a last nail in the coffin of the Glass-Steagall Act, which had protected the United States banking system since 1933. This was a very simple act, although there were a fair number of provisions of which the Glass-Steagall Act was part of, and the major issue was simply separating the ordinary commercial banks from the merchant banks. And this worked. There was no problem with it. The banks didn't make that much money because they couldn't get involved in all the extra deals that merchant banking got involved in. And the banking interests wanted to stop this. In particular, they wanted to change the comparative advantage between Wall Street and the foreign money centers such as London in our favor. And this was understandable, and it worked. After this was passed, there was a grand party. We made a lot of money in our financial stocks. The stock market went wild in that area. And the governments did well. We took in a lot nationally and in some of the states through income taxes and through corporation taxes. And we were able to spend a lot more, lower taxes, and everything looked good. We, of course, developed certain habits of spending and taxation which were not tenable, except if you had a high income flow. And as a result of this, well, you know what happens. You knew about the collapse. Some people made a lot of money, and a lot of people lost a lot of money, a lot of people, and people who were not involved in making the money in the first place. So on this basis, I would say Larry Summers is not the right man for the job. Now, you might say, hey, this is hindsight. Now we're talking, who would have known? And I'm saying, in this case, Larry Summers' intelligence, his brilliance, is actually a part of the indictment. He really had the knowledge, had the intelligence, had the flexibility of thought to have predicted that this would happen, and that at least we should have been on guard for it, and he didn't do that. So I would not like him to be the next head of the Federal Reserve. Another area, the secrecy area. Leaving aside Manning and Snowden, which is hard to do considering the criminal involvement, let's just take a look at this and call for the obvious. We have had the secrecy system growing since Pearl Harbor Day, and every time anything comes up, it gets added to the secrecy list. And we have no really good idea of what these measures cover. We don't know where it's being applied correctly. We don't know where it's being applied to material which absolutely should not be guarded. And it's really about time that we did it. And again, forgetting the present issues, this is something that we should have done and started a while ago. So what is obvious is that we need to call a bipartisan group, and preferably a bipartisan commission, which has all areas of expertise, all points of view on this, and has a heavy representation of people who are most infected, namely the defense community. So it should have a good representation of people who have well-founded expertise in defense and are respected. In addition, it should have representatives of the press, representatives of the judiciary, Congress, and anybody else who really wants to be it, and it should be a really blue ribbon commission that can be respected. And it should get going on it. The issue that it has to establish, finally, is, well, at what level should the secrecy be drawn? If it's too narrow, yeah, they're genuine national defense items that are going to be betrayed, and people may die as a result, and this is very important, and this should not be minimized. However, if it's too broad, it's wrong on every count. You will get masking of government behavior that is dangerous or corrupt or both, and this really needs to be done. There are a lot of secrets out there that shouldn't be secrets. In addition, if it's drawn too broadly, paradoxically, it will injure national defense. When it's brought too broadly, people do not have any respect for it, and it's very casual, and it's not really observed closely. And we have a situation where low-level people like Manning and Snowden have access to all this information and can reveal it. This shouldn't be. If you're guarding real secrets, they should be real secrets. People who handle them really need to be vetted. A system has to occur that the secrets that are appropriate stay secret. So this is something where it's a matter of drawing the line. Once the line is drawn, a system has to be set up where people who are handling potentially secret material are vetted, can make good judgments, and we make the right judgment. Otherwise, we'll go back to the same situation. So this situation should be bipartisan. It can be started by either the executive or it can be started by the Congress. But the major thing is clear. It should have well-respected figures in it, heavy representation of the defense community, and people who are expert, and people who will spend a lot of time working out a system that will guard both our defense and our liberties. See you next time.